Alright, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, today is Friday and we're heading over to Oxford today. We are here in the London Underground tube. We're waiting for our train. And then we got to get to Paddington Station where we're going to get on our other train. That's the one that's going to take us to Oxford. Alright, so I think I hear our train coming right now, so I guess there it is. So, we got to get on board this to take us to Paddington Station. So. Alright, so this is where we got to Paddington Station, and now we need to go get our train that's going to take us over to Oxford. As you can see, it's pretty busy. It's rush hour.
So we are waiting for our train. It's supposed to arrive in about 15 minutes. It will be arriving on this track right here, platform number 8.
Yep, we're in Paddington Station. This is Paddington Station in London, and we are going to be heading to Oxford this morning. So, as you can see, this is where the entry and exit point is for a lot of trains. So we have our assigned seats. So we're looking forward to getting there. The sun will be up. It's not supposed to rain today. It's supposed to be a little warmer than it has been on other days. By warm, I mean it's supposed to get up possibly up to 50. And we're gonna get some breakfast too. How about that? So we're having our breakfast and then we're going to go out and look around the town a little bit. How's your breakfast? The full Oxford breakfast, which as you can see has potatoes, beans, we got some sausage and bacon, we have eggs, mushrooms, spinach of course, and it's just got a wonderful variety. I got the same thing as well. We're finishing up our breakfast now, and the room that we're in is part of a church. We're in Oxford University, and this room is, as we didn't know before we started eating, but we're learning that this room is actually 700 years old. So this is where the founding members, the original council, would meet here at Oxford. So this is the first central university building right here. So it's got a lot of history, 700 years old. Another of the sites here in Oxford is St. Mary's Passage, which you probably never heard of. St. Mary's Passage. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're at St. Mary's Passage, and this area here was actually an area where they say C.S. Lewis was inspired for several elements of his book that he wrote you may have heard of. A little book called The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's just inspiration here for everything. You can hear the bells going off. This is the church over here. We were just in the meeting room over in that area here. That's where we had our breakfast. So anyway, you can see the lantern from that may have been an inspiration for C.S. Lewis and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And here's another one over here right by this doorway. We have these fawns right there. Another one over here. So as you can tell, there's inspiration all over the place for a lot of famous books, and this is St. Mary's Passage. I like the older buildings. The history is amazing. So we're going to head over towards Christ Church College now. This is the staircase where Harry shows up his first day at Hogwarts. So we're going to go ahead and follow this up there. This is where he meets Draco for the first time, of course. And Neville, he lost his frog here, right?
Or he found his
he found his toad, yes. You come up the stairs. You can see there's a lot of people also enjoying the same location in a moment. This is where Professor McGonagall stops the children. And she stands, I think, over here. And she tells them, "You will be sorted into your houses." Which house are you going to be in? Ravenclaw. Yeah, we prefer Ravenclaw. That's our college.
It's not what I prefer, it's what I was sorted.
You were sorted into it, isn't it? Yes, sorting hat. The sorting hat knows. Now, once they were at the top of the stairs, they were told they were going to be entering the Great Hall. Now, there was no filming, actually, of Harry Potter in this room, but we're told that this is the room that inspired, yes, the Great Hall that you see. So we're going to turn around, we're going to go ahead and go in there, and you can kind of get an idea of how this room may have inspired the Great Hall. Now I want you to look at something rather interesting in this room, and this is not Harry Potter, but it's still literary. But you look at the fireplace. But on the left and right hand side, you see those brass figures on there, and you notice that they are ladies with very long necks, so it appears. Now this was, as we were told, inspiration for Lewis Carroll. For Alice in Wonderland, there's that section where she eats the wrong side of the, what is it, the mushroom? Yeah, and her neck grows really, really long. Now in the cartoon it's different, but in the book her neck gets very long. And this is where he was supposed to have gotten inspiration for that Alice in Wonderland event. These windows actually, I will point out, if you look in the bottom left and right corners of the windows, these beautiful stained glass windows. I love how they tell a story. But in the upper left one, you'll see Alice, and on the right hand side, you see the dodo. And then along the bottom, you see the White Rabbit, the Mad Hatter. You've got all the other characters. I believe I'm seeing the Queen over there and all. It's just a plethora of literary characters. A lot of people, probably everybody, has heard of Alice in Wonderland, and I showed you a few pieces that were inspiration for the story of Alice in Wonderland. What a lot of people don't know is that Alice was actually a real person. And this is where she was at, here at Oxford University. She was actually a little child at the time of the story, just as it was in the story. Her father was the dean at the time of Christ Church College. His name was Dean Little. Her name was Alice Little. So a real person she was. And in fact, there's remnants here very specific to her. Now we're in one of the quads over here. And over here is a door. This is where, how you get, yes, this is the dean's office. And you'll see on this door, there's the door handle right there. And here's the deanery. Remember I just told you that Alice, her father was the dean, but look at this little handle right here. See, what a lot of people don't know, that was put in for Alice. Alice, the Alice from Alice in Wonderland. Actually, use this to open the door so she could get in to see her father. This is Radcliffe Camera, is what that is. And as you can tell, it is noon. We're inside the Bodleian Library right now. It's a little bit quiet in here. It's very echoey if you talk too much. This is where, in Harry Potter, they filmed the hospital scene, believe it or not. So you can imagine the area behind me filled with like hospital beds, that kind of thing. And this is where Harry Potter went to get all healed up. So you might recognize, like, look at the ceiling in particular, because you'll recognize that from that scene. So this is the Bridge of Sighs. Not size like size.
Big or little is
Yeah, like a sigh. S-I. Yeah,
S-I-G-H-S.
that's what I'm trying to say. I don't even know how to spell today. I'm crazy. It's the Bridge of Sighs. I'm not really sure what the story is behind that, but this is a very beautiful bridge from one building over to the other. It's an iconic piece of architecture in Oxford, and it is just gorgeous. This is Blackwell's bookstore, and it's right across from the Bodleian Library. And just want to give you a sense of age if you're not familiar with over in England, but they're celebrating 140 years. So this bookstore has been open for 140 years. Imagine all the different customers they've had in that much time. I'm getting kind of hungry for lunch now. How about you?
Yes.
Well, this is
Really good for lunch.
what sounds really good for lunch.
Some fish and chips.
Where would we find fish and chips?
Right here.
Right here at the White Horse Pub. That sounds like a wonderful idea. We're going to go in here and we're going to have ourselves a wonderful lunch. This is probably our last stop in Oxford because we're running out of time, honestly. It's kind of a quick day for us. Behind us is a very famous pub if you know much about older literature. It's called the Eagle and Child, and what makes this place really popular is some of the people that used to hang out here. There was two noted authors in particular who hung out here together. One was C.S. Lewis. You might know him from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the Chronicles of Narnia. And the other is very famous for The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Yes, j.r.r. Tolkien. And the two of them hung out together along with other literary friends. And they would come over here and discuss their books while they were writing them. And they formed a little group that they called the Inklings. And they would come back here and they would sit in the back room, which was called the Rabbit Room. The Rabbit Room, that's it. And so we're going to see if we can go into the Eagle and Child. I'm not sure how busy they are. Probably going to be pretty busy because it is lunchtime. And but we're going to see if we can go in there and sit up the area back in the Rabbit Room. Or at least look around a little bit if we're able to. So, but anyway, whether we can or can't, this is where that all happened. This is where some of those famous literary giants hang out, right over here. The Eagle and Child, and now you too. So let's see if we can go inside. Alright, so this, if you can see under the banners, is the Rabbit Room. So yes, we did make it here finally, just in the nick of time before we actually had to collect the train back to London again. They have a plaque, which might be a little difficult to read, commemorating the Eagle and Child, the Inklings. And here it says, what I just told you, C.S. Lewis, j.r.r. Tolkien, and others as well would gather here and hang out. See? There is Tolkien himself. So the last pub that we were at was actually pretty busy, and it looked like it was going to take a long time for us to eat, so we just didn't have time for that. So we did come over here to the Eagle and Child, and we sat down right away here in the Rabbit Room, as you can see around us. And we did get our fish and chips,
And mushy peas.
and mushy peas. Gotta have mushy peas. So we're gonna enjoy our fish and chip lunch, and then we have to get on the train.
So we've had our fish and chips. It was amazing.
It really was. The Eagle and the Child. Please don't forget that place. I mean, what a literary wonderland.
It's literally a literary wonderland.
I don't think I could say that even one time slow. But we really enjoyed that. And now we're heading back to the train station. This is pretty much our day in Oxford over. I hate being here for such a short while, but in this case, that's all we had. So, it's hard to believe it was just a little over 48 hours ago we landed here.
I
all the things we've done already. So we are going to head over to the train station. We're heading back to London. We have one more night tomorrow morning. We get up, have breakfast, and then we're heading to Paris. Yes, we are. Anyway, this closes this day in Oxford.